Om Shanti. Today in the Murli, Baba says that I open the locks on your intellect, and the intellect is the one that perceives, discerns, decides. So basically, the organ of perception was not in place, and we couldn't see things that were invisible to the naked eye. We couldn't understand, that the non-physical also exists, and we were completely unaware of that. So the intellect is the organ of perception. Then the intellect is the organ of discernment and decision making. So we did not discriminate between right and wrong, good and bad, true and false. We had no discernment. We did not know what is true, what is false, what is right, what is wrong. And then decision making. So we did not even have the power to decide what we thought was the right thing to do. And then Baba comes and Baba opens the locks on our intellect. And then suddenly it's a very different world for us. And only yesterday, I was sitting and thinking that the Sangam Yuga is so different from Kali Yuga that sometimes, you even if you want to wrap your head around whatever Baba is saying, sometimes it gets really difficult because it is the complete opposite of Kali Yuga. So whatever I thought is right or true or the truth is not like that, and it is completely upside down. So Baba says that but this is what it is, and Baba says that whatever you thought was untrue and whatever you believed was untrue. And Baba today says that whatever actions you did became sinful actions. And it kind of hurts our ego to think that, we did everything wrong, and everything that we did became a sinful action. But that's the truth. Everything we did, so we obviously we thought that we are doing the right thing and we are doing the most righteous thing and we are being right and very moral and we are good people, and we did everything according to morality and with great intention. But Baba says when your intellect was locked, you couldn't see anything, you couldn't discern, you couldn't decide. So basically you had the best of intentions, but all you did was create sinful action. So you did not create any right action. So you see that if there is complete lack of vision in a person, so let's say there is somebody whose vision is completely impaired, then what happens? Even if they are striving very hard, they are trying to find the way, they are making effort, but probably they are only moving towards stumbling because that person is not able to see. So I think the intellect is like eyes for the soul, and then it is also the discernment and decision making faculties. So when we don't have eyes, how can we see, or how can we differentiate between true, untrue, right, wrong? No vision at all. So the intellect was completely non-functional. And then and today Baba also tells that, the mind creates these stormy thoughts, these sinful thoughts, and then when there is no intellect in place, when the intellect is dysfunctional or powerless, then what happens is those sinful thoughts come into action. Yes, so 63 births of sanskaras we created, and do your sanskars, so just ask yourself, do your sanskars drive you to do anything good in the day? So they will tell you waste time, they will tell you, watch unnecessary stuff. They will always, the mind is always creating thoughts which prod you towards creating sin. And then one sin becomes, so one vikar becomes more powerful than the other vikar, and then you switch. So let's say you are sitting idle, getting lazy, and then greed takes over. Then you start working and you think you're hard working, but then you're not working hard, you're working because money is driving you. And then attachment takes over, and then you think you're missing your family, and then you go and spend time with them and act out of attachment, and then you think that I'm a very balanced person. You see, I'm balancing work and I'm balancing relationships, but you're not balancing anything. One vikar has taken over the other. And then this dance of one vice taking over the other always keeps going on. And it was very interesting, when COVID was at its peak. So there was this interesting phenomena which emerged, that people suddenly started saying that we don't care if we die, or I don't mind death, but I want to enjoy. And then they started gathering on beaches, and the government was warning that no, this is not the right thing to do. But suddenly people thought that no, even if I die, I have to enjoy. So then there was this one person who asked me, so you are teaching soul consciousness, and then you see God says you should be soul conscious, and one indication or indicator of soul consciousness is fearlessness. So do you think that people have become very soul conscious, so they don't mind dying, and they have overcome fear of death, and it's a good thing? So I said, no, it's that desire which has overtaken the sanskar of fear. So one vice supersedes another vice. So have you seen that sometimes your attachment will overtake your fear? So sometimes, when the child is in danger, then the father or the mother can jump from a height, or they can do things which are very, very superhuman, and then at that time they look like they are fearless, but it's not that they are fearless. It's like it's the vice of attachment which has overtaken the vice of fear. And then suddenly when the attachment goes down, then you're the same person, you're the same fearful person. So it's always one vice taking over the other, and it kind of keeps feeding our ego that we are very good people, and we are creating all good actions during the day, and I'm leading a very balanced life. But actually Maya is Maya is giving us full-on entertainment, and Maya is engaging us multidimensionally and not letting us be aware of what's actually going on. So this is what is happening. So sometimes lust takes over, sometimes anger takes over. Sometimes, when you're angry, you don't mind. So I have seen people, when they get angry, they say, I don't mind who is listening, I don't mind what's happening, I don't mind the reputation, I have never cared about these things, and they will shout and embarrass themselves, embarrass others, do everything possible under the sun, because they are under the sway of anger. It's not like they have overcome that sense of ego that I want to look good. No. But at that point of time, they will start behaving like they don't mind if they look bad. So, but as soon as the anger subsides, they will clean up that whole place themselves. And then they will put all the labels together again and ensure that everything is proper, and then they will be concerned about who heard and who listened and what happened, or did the message go out right or not. And then they will also think about, what will I say when people ask. So it's not like you've become egoless, it's just that anger has taken over your ego. So Baba says that pretty much everything we do is just based on vices. It is dictated by vices. It is so people who look like they are very contented and complacent, they are basically lazy. So it's not contentment, it is laziness. So when you're very lazy, you act like you're very contented. And there is this one Kumar, and his mother is in Gyan, and he told his mother, you people are always hankering after money, 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 and you want me to get a job, and you are always telling study, study because you want my money. But I'm not like that. I'm not a greedy person like you and my father. I am very contented, very chilled out, and so I don't mind if I don't earn or don't study. I can go and eat in a langar. I can be, very complacent, very happy and contented on my own. But then the next day he was telling me, give me 50,000, I want to buy an iPhone. So, so you see that the child needs everything, but they will try to hide that laziness or that unwillingness to make effort, and shroud it and package it nicely and say that this is my contentment. Or when you want to criticize and when you want to find faults with somebody, you will say that I'm a well-wisher and I'm doing everything so that you are better off, and I'm very concerned about you. So we are always hiding our sins behind nice packaging. So, and Baba says that you keep doing this because you don't know how to do otherwise. There is no vision, there is no discernment, there is no decision making. You don't have anything because your intellect is dysfunctional. And then I come and I give you that intellect. So I give power to that intellect, and through Baba's Gyan there is self-realization. Self-realization in both ways. A, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And B, what are my capacities and what am I really capable of doing? So Baba puts the intellect in place, and of course it takes time. You see, if you are trying to, so have you seen those bottles which have their lids which have become out of place, and then you have to juggle with it a lot until it takes its position again. So it's something like that. So a lot of juggling has to take place until our intellect gets positioned properly, because when we come to Baba, it is pretty much displaced and non-functional, and then Baba is reinstating it, but it takes a pretty long time and a lot of juggling before we actually get things right. And if I look at my journey in the last 10 or 12 years, I always feel that every year my understanding of Gyan is shifting. So, it's how I perceived what Baba is saying in the first year is very different from the fifth year, and then slowly, gradually, it's shifting every year, and I can see that, and I really don't know what I will understand in the next 10 years. But wherever I am right now, I understand that it takes a lot of juggling to really understand and get what Baba is saying, because again, you have to get it with your intellect, and your intellect is rusted. So how do you get it with that rusted intellect? So again, you keep getting it, keep doing good karma, and then your intellect also gets sharpened, and you get then you get something else, and then again you keep doing. So it's a big process, and I think it's a very beautiful journey that we are making with Baba, and every day it's getting better and better. So one thing that we talked about is all the things that we thought we are doing out of magnanimity, or we are doing the right thing, but it came out to be the wrong thing because we couldn't see the vice dictating it. And B, Baba says, you are capable of knowledgeful, loveful, powerful, pure, altruistic, magnanimous actions, which we did not know. At least I didn't have any idea that I am capable of knowledgeful, loveful, powerful, altruistic actions. But Baba makes us realize that, and Baba brings us to a point where I realize I am a Devata. So I'm actually capable of drawing power from Baba through relationship with Baba, and I'm capable of purifying myself through that process, and I'm capable of purifying the whole world and doing this spiritual seva, which is something that we never thought we are capable of, or something that never crossed our minds. And so Baba is telling all these things, that until the Father comes and gives them true recognition, all their thoughts are sinful. And not only thoughts are sinful, our remembrances, our actions, everything is sinful. You see, we create so much of vikarma through remembrance. What are we remembering? What are we recalling? All that is giving us pain and making our wounds bleed. Yes, have you seen those children who don't know that a wound doesn't need to be scratched, otherwise it will bleed even more? And that's precisely what we keep doing all day. So we have wounded ourselves because we had no proper discernment. So we took sorrow. So A is, we took sorrow because there was no understanding that everybody is playing their part. Why am I taking sorrow? So do you understand that all the sorrow you took in that whole journey, and we only remember a very small part of it, which pertains to a part of this birth, but all 63 births we have taken a lot of sorrow out of lack of knowledge. Yes, and created a sin in that way also. And then now what we do is we keep scratching those wounds by remembering those incidents and those behaviors, and we keep revisiting that story we told ourselves which gave us so much pain. So that's also a kind of that's also a huge act of foolishness that we perform, because our intellect is not in place. So Baba says that all these actions of remembrance, of thought, of words, so do you see that we could comfort people, we could give people happiness and knowledge and love through words, and what are we doing? All day we are hurting and creating sin through our words. And when I came to Gyan, I realized how much of paap we create through words. So we have the choice, to be compassionate and understanding and knowledgeful and encouraging and loveful and bringing happiness to somebody. But how are we using our faculty of words? Always pointing out others' weaknesses and looking at what's wrong with them and talking about stuff that's wrong with them. Even if it's wrong with them, will your saying it correct it? And if you want to correct it, say it in a manner that fulfills your purpose, because our purpose is not being served. People are not getting corrected. So do you know the definition of insanity? When you keep doing something with one intention and it's not leading to that, and you still keep doing that, that's insanity. So we are saying that we are correcting people around us by pointing out their mistakes and weaknesses and this and that, and nobody got corrected in these whole years of your life, and still you keep doing that. That's insanity. That's why Baba says you have lost it. So you are doing things which is not serving any purpose. And then Baba says that this power of remembrance, this capacity of thought, this capacity of speech, what you can do with your body, the actions you can perform, you can purify yourself and purify the world. And Baba says, I teach you these actions. I open the locks on your intellect. You had no idea what you're doing. And then Baba says that now that I have come, make it the number one purpose of your life to take your inheritance from me, because you lost it under the influence of Ravan. Now I'm giving it to you, so take it from me by connecting your buddhi with my buddhi all the time. And then today Baba underlines one thing, which is giving to, so when you, so the Baba uses the example of feeding Brahmins during Shraddh. And Baba says that people think that when a Brahmin eats, then they are creating punya karma out of it. But Baba says that if somebody is patit, which means somebody has lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, and they are leading a vicious life, and you are feeding them, then that is not going into account of charity. That is not punya karma. So if you are giving away your resources to souls who are vicious in their life, those who are not embracing purity in their life, then that is not creating punya karma. That is creating paap karma. And So, and I remember, this is a very personal experience from childhood. So, my parents used to offer Shraddh, and they used to call a pandit and feed the pandit. And once, there was this one person who was called, and he ate very greedily, and there was nothing aesthetic about that whole scene. It was a scene that put everyone off. And then after sending the pandit off, my father said, "This is my last Shraddh. From next time I'm not calling any Brahmin and feeding him." So then I was little and I wondered what happened, and then I said, "What happened, Papa? Why will you not do this?" So my father said, "Mera baap aise nahi khata tha." So my father didn't eat like this. And I was not reminded of my father when he ate, and I felt very disgusted, and I'm not doing it from next time. So from that time onwards, that whole that custom broke, and nobody did it again in the household. So maybe my mother, slyly she would take something and get it to the temple. That was different, but she did it in private, so the father never knew about it. So Baba says, you see that people who are vicious and conducting themselves with lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, and you think that the ancestors are pleased when you eat them, it's just what you think, it's not what it is. And then Baba says that yesterday Baba in the Murli specified that when you offer bhog to Baba, in Shraddh also we offer bhog to Baba, then what are we doing? So pure souls, yogi souls, are preparing Brahma bhojan. And in the center, yogis are cooking food. So in the center, there is no provision of calling someone from outside and getting food prepared. It is we sisters who prepare food. And then that Brahma bhojan is offered to Baba, and the soul is immersed there, and then that soul is made to accept that bhog. So Baba says that's the kind of love you have to show to that soul, so that that soul gets that power from Brahma bhojan. Because Baba says that in the Shastras it is said that even deities yearned for Brahma bhojan. So Baba says that this Brahma bhojan, which is prepared by yogis in remembrance of Baba, is only possible at this time, and this is what you do in Shraddh, not feed impure souls who have no dharana in their life. These days, people only wear different clothes, and because of those different clothes they say that I'm so and so or this and that. But if you look at the quality of life, there is no dharana in that life. So Baba says there is no point, you don't think that you are doing some punya karma by giving your resources or investing your resources in feeding a papatma. And then Baba says, and it is not just limited to Shraddh, whatever you are doing, the way you are spending money on marriages and on lustful, people, if all our money is spent on people who are not taking care of their lives, they have no intention to be pure. So all that money is only creating pap karma. Just look at that. And you know that Brahma Baba, he took care that he fulfilled his responsibilities of raising his children. So until the children became worthy and until the children grew up, they had to be fed and clothed and educated. That's the responsibility of the parent. But then he knew that if the child follows Baba's path and becomes pure good, otherwise I have got nothing to do with that child, because now I have fulfilled my duty. He is not somebody I have to will everything to. My everything belongs to Baba. So Baba says that you must have clarity about karam, and I'm giving you all this clarity, and I'm giving you the clarity that even when you did bhakti, you did not accumulate any punya karma, because you remembered your idea of God, not God. You did not remember God, you remembered your idea of God, because you didn't know who I am. So how could you remember me? And have you seen people who have been very good bhagats and they don't go to the temple anymore, and they are very angry upon God, and they are very hurt because of God? There are so many of that kind. And why? Because they are worshipping their idea of God, and their idea is that if I worship, if I do 16 Mondays, 24 Saturdays, whatever, so everybody has their own idea, and then if I keep doing these things, then I will get this and get that, and God will make this right and that right. And that's not what God does. And then they are moving with their expectations, and then getting hurt and disappointed, and then moving with a hurt heart all the time. Yes. And then you see that I was in a conference, and in that conference organized by Women's Wing, there was this one mother-daughter who had come, and they were new souls, and they had not been initiated into Gyan. And then that daughter said, I want to ask a question. And she came up on the stage and she said, my mother is a very good person, and she does bhakti, she never hurts anybody, but then she is always sad and miserable, and her life is hell. So I don't believe in God because I have not seen my mother happy, and she is a very big bhagat. So then we had to educate her that bhakti is not what you think it is. So, you don't understand God, then who are you remembering? And then taking sorrow is a sin, and your mother is doing that. So she is not understanding that. Of course she can't understand because the intellect is locked. But the thing is that until Baba comes, we don't understand that if you just take care that I don't hurt anybody, but you keep taking that hurt inside, then that is also a sin, because somebody is getting hurt eventually. So you have to not hurt anybody, and you have to not hurt yourself also. Then what do you have to do? You have to give that to Baba. Yes, you have to give that whole thing to Baba, and Baba will take it, and take knowledge and love and power from Baba and heal yourself. But if we don't know how to remember Baba, if we don't have this relationship, then we will keep taking hurt. So Baba says, whatever you did in bhakti also did not become good karma, because you had no idea who God is or what God says. So Baba says that now I am opening the locks on your intellect, and now you must understand what is right, what is wrong, what is the right way to do things, and now do it the right way. And the most important thing is be pure, be a yogi. Because if you don't take power from me, then even if you know what is right and wrong, you will still do the wrong thing. So this is something that Baba says. And then in the slogan, Baba says, when the boat and the boatman are strong, any storm becomes a gift. Yes, so who is the boatman? Baba. Who is the boat? You and I. That's the boat. So Baba is of course strong, but the boat also has to be strong. And do you know the problem with the boat? A little hole in the boat and all the water will go inside the boat. Yes, so good boat, very good looking boat, but a little tiny hole in the boat and the boat will drown and also the boatman will drown with it. So this is why Baba says, if you don't plug every hole, if you don't understand that every hole needs to be plugged in, so you have to understand that no, there is no scope for being lazy or postponing. You have to follow every Shrimad. And if you don't do that, not only you drown, but you also may get me a bad name. Yes, so when people say, they say that this is what Brahma Kumars and Kumaris do, then we normal people are better than these people. Yes, so they will say that if first you are super normal, then you get reduced to abnormal when they see something wrong with you, and then you are drowning yourself and taking Baba along with you. And Baba says that when you are strong, then we will go across and every storm will become a gift. So have you seen that those sailors who have been through very rough weather and they have had a lot of experiences with stormy weather, they come in their old age, they have so many stories to tell and they are so experienced and they have so much knowledge about everything, because every storm brings a gift of realization, a gift of experience. But Baba says only when you are strong, then we will come to that gift. And in Hindi it is very nicely said, Tufan tohfa le aayega. So the storm will bring the gift with itself. And I will also share one more thing in this regard. Do you know when there is a storm in the sea, then there is something called the eye of the storm, which is always calm, and the ships which can make it to the eye of the storm, they get saved. So it's a whole whirlwind outside, and then there is this eye which is a safe place, and then they go there, and when they are able to drive up to that, then the whole storm will come and go and they will be safe. So Baba says, this eye of soul consciousness. So if you're always soul conscious, then storms will come and go, but you will be saved from every storm and you will emerge as somebody who saw the storm but was not hurt by the storm. Okay.